Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is where you are. I pray that this video finds you in peace. I pray that you know that God's grace is there to cover you. That's why it's there. I am Prophetess Tcmckoy. I'm going to go ahead and jump in and give you all of the extra things at the end. So please wait till the end. Um, I hopped on here and it's been very impromptu lately. And my heart just became heavy. And I wanted to share something with you. I wanted to share something with you with the goal of you beginning to move and take steps um, in just opening up the door, right? Um, if we look at where I'm going with this figuratively, you walk, there's an open house where there's a house for sale and you want to buy a home, or you're thinking about buying a home, or maybe you go with a friend and you're right outside the door. And when you go to an open house, they have these homes, they call them model homes, and they are decorated to the T. Everything in there is upgraded. It's just beautiful. It's there to sell you on the home. Um, but sometimes for some of us, we don't always know how to handle that. Sometimes that doesn't um, move us to actually want to buy the home, even though we desire it. Sometimes we feel like it's too much for us. This has got to be way more expensive than I would think. Or we just begin to have these different thoughts go over in our minds, right? But in this situation, I don't even want you to focus on moving in the home or even looking around the home yet. I just want you to open the door. I just want you to open the door, to make a decision to open the door. And then allow God to deal with you and how you begin to move forward into the home, and how you begin to imagine what your home will look like, what your life and your world will look like. But I need you to open the door. And so let me make that plain. I was gonna do a post that said, the image said greatness on display. And the bullshit. Y'all gonna have to work with me today because I feel God. But the thought behind that is greatness is to be on display. Greatness is to be seen, it's to be heard, it's to be felt, it is to be experienced, it is to be shared, right? But greatness also has an assignment attached to it. So in the sharing, there's supposed to be some type of outcome that comes out of it. Who's going to be affected when you share your greatness? Whose life is going to be changed when you share your greatness? When you're seen, whose face are you going to put a smile on? Greatness is supposed to be experienced and seen and shared and heard, but greatness is also, it also has an assignment and a task attached to it. And so many of us are aware that there's something on the inside of us that is greater than we can understand. There is something on the inside of us that is greater than we can explain, that we even know how to get out. It's like a struggle trying to expose this greatness on the inside of you. But because it's not being exposed, because it's not on display, because it's not doing what its assignment is, guess what? There's this internal struggle. There's this internal battle. How do I know? Ask me how I know. And that's the reason why I'm not afraid to come forth. Now, granted, my God, my mentor had to bring me out. You understand? He had to share with me the things that needed to happen in order for me to be able to express who I am, who God made me to be. And I was put here to speak the word of the Lord. So I am clear with that. It doesn't matter to me what people say. It doesn't matter to me, what people think. Because I am at liberty internally. And that helps me to also be at liberty externally. That helps me to not only be at liberty externally, but to put it into perspective, meaning it doesn't matter what is going on around me. It doesn't matter. Because the phrase or the cliche is, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it. And the world can't take it away. Can I submit to you? Can I just submit to you that your joy is not active, is not coming through, is not emanating from your being because there is a misalignment somewhere. And that misalignment sometimes comes right out of whether the greatness on the inside of you is doing what it is assigned to do. And here, listen, this can shift at any time for any of us. And this is the reason why we have to stay in the Father's face. Because you can be doing great, you can be aligned, your greatness can be on display, but there's been a shift in the spirit in appointed times for you. Let me say that again because my voice was cracking. There's been a shift in an appointed time for you. You've moved from one season into another season. And if you are not aware, if you're not watching while you're praying, the times that God has appointed for you, then you'll find yourself once again in a place of not having joy because you're not aware at this moment where your greatness is to be displayed and what its assignment really is. And listen, and this struggle is okay to have, but you just have to understand that sometimes you have to shift. You have to also make sure that you're in the face of the Lord. You have to seek him, and you have to seek him with everything that you got, especially in this season, because we all have, if you are here on this earth, there is an appointed task for you. And so the mental anguish and the emotional imbalances and struggles and extremes that we sometimes go through is because there is an internal battle going on. So I encourage you to calm your seas. Speak to your winds. Tell them to stand back. I need to talk to the Father right now. Listen, that's what Peter did. He didn't know how to hold it. Again, you got to make sure that when the people get to talking and things, your environment gets to shifting, that you stay in the pocket with the Father. So what I'm saying is you got to speak to the winds. You got to get in the Father's face and you got to seek him and you got to find out, Lord, you got to find out, Lord, where am I to be right now? Where am I to be right now? What am I supposed to be doing right now? How do I get my greatness to be on display? And what is the assignment that you have for it? And listen, I'm not saying he's getting ready to speak to you as soon as you ask him. It's the first time you seek him. And so you have to be consistent, because the Bible also tells us of how we have to consistently knock sometimes, and we have to consistently ask sometimes. And even in our seeking and our asking, we have to understand that God sometimes allows us to do that and wants us to do that, because even then he's building our faith. He's building our faith in saying and showing ourselves that we're going to seek him, that we know that he has the answer, so that we don't go back and we don't pick it up and try to do it ourselves, or we don't just resolve and say, I'm done. And so God sometimes will position us. So I want you to prepare yourself for the seek, because the answer may not come immediately, but you have to continue seeking. You have to make sure that you understand where your answer is going to come from. And it's not going to come from your best friend in this season. I'm so sorry. It's not going to always come from your pastor this season. I'm so sorry. Pastor is going to confirm everything. But guess what? Pastor is going through it too. Pastor is living through a pandemic too. Pastor is dealing with loss too. I'm just keeping it 100 with you today. And I don't even know. I don't normally get on here and go this hard. But I need you to understand that mental anguish and that emotional space that you find yourself in, going in and out and up and down and not able to be consistent, and you're wavering and you're unstable in your ways. And I'm not judging you, because God knows I have been there. But what I am saying to you is that God made me to know through my own experiences that comes out of a misalignment. And yeah, you were on top of the world last week, but God has shifted you. The Bible talks about how he would have his apostles and his prophets, and he would translate them somewhere else. Listen, you were here today. Elijah was one of them. When Elijah went to Abinadab and he said, listen, or Obadiah, he said, listen, I need you to let Ahab know I'm in the room and I need to see him. Obadiah said, wait a minute, let me make sure this is Obadiah. Hold on, y'all, because I'm not into just saying anything. Yeah, Obadiah. So he goes to Obadiah, and Obadiah is like, listen, I'm not going to Ahab and I'm not saying anything. I'm not telling him you here, because word on the street is you hopping all over everywhere. 1 minute you was at the brook, the next minute you was down there with the widow, and now you talking about you're here with Ahab. I don't know what you're here for, but I'm not getting ready to have my head cut off because the Ahab think I'm lying to him saying the prophet has come. So the Father will sometimes move us, shift us. My last video was about the shift. God is speaking about the shift. Because God keeps his people, he maintains his people, he preserves his people, sometimes by literally the geographical location you are in. But what I am speaking about is your purpose. What is your purpose today? And sometimes in this season, I think we're going to have to wake up that way. God, what is my purpose today? What is it that I'm supposed to do today, Father? Has anything shifted since yesterday, or do I keep moving in the vein I was in yesterday? I cannot stress this enough. And the only thing that I can really say about it in the way that I can, that the Father will allow me to, is that all of this is preparation for another time. It's preparation for another time. So you got to get your mind right. You got to get your emotions stable. And the way you do that is just by opening the door. And you open the door by seeking. Just let me look into this. Just let me look at this a little bit closer. And then God will begin to show you around. and explain to you or give you the instructions or just lead you. Because I know he don't speak to us all the same. Everybody doesn't hear him. Everybody doesn't see. Sometimes you just feel your heart feels light in moving in a certain direction. But even when you get the answer, I just always encourage people to stay seeking. Stay seeking, because you got an answer today and you said you was going to move on it tomorrow. So if you wake up tomorrow, he may have shifted again. Help us, Holy Spirit. And listen, I know this sounds crazy. I know this sounds strange. I'm just the woman of God who is speaking forth the mind of God in this moment. And I don't expect for everybody to get on board with it. I don't expect for everyone to understand it. But I will say that if anything resonates or speaks to your spirit, if you feel anything sparking on the inside of you with anything that I have said, I encourage you to go and speak to the Lord about it. I encourage you to stay in that one vein of the one thing that if you don't take anything else away from here, that you seek him. That you seek him. And I need you to know that greatness is supposed to be on display. Yes. I don't think that's for question, right? But it becomes a struggle when it's not authentic, when that greatness is not being displayed in the space that it's supposed to be in. I am a wonderful servant in many areas. There's not much that I can't do. But how is that supposed to be displayed in this season? Right here on YouTube. God sent me to YouTube for this season to share with you my skill, my expertise in beauty and wellness, my love for chemistry, because the video is coming about doing some things and knowing what you need in preparation for this next wave. So I will be finishing up my research for that soon, and and sharing with you the opportunity to purchase the book, God of the Wind, which is something that for those of you who are needing to open the door, it's a tool that you can use to open the door and begin to get in conversation with God, using the language that will literally shift your atmosphere so that God can really speak to you and you hear him and he hear you the way you need to be heard, so that you can move from where you are to your next. This is the place where I share, where I speak, where I give whatever God gives me, the greatness on the inside of me, that is God. This is where I'm to be. Where are you to be in this season? What is the assignment of the greatness inside of you? I know you don't know, or maybe you do. And if you do know, make sure you stay connected. Make sure you stay plugged in with the Father, because I guarantee you that within the next 6 to 7 months, there'll be a shift. And if you don't know, you will know if you begin to seek him. If you just say, listen, I'm going to go in, I'm going to just open the door and just, look around. I'm going to look around from here. The Father will invite you in and share with you where you need to go and show you the ins and outs of the world that he wants you to exist in this season. And so I don't know if y'all can choose a scripture text. I didn't even know I was going to talk about a scripture. I literally just got on here to say greatness should be on display, and how my heart aches because there are so many people. There are people taking themselves out because of that internal struggle. And I don't want you to be one of those people. And I don't say this because I'm up here and you're down here struggling. I say this because I have lived here. And I was one of those who tried to take myself out. And I should have been successful, but for the grace of God. Because I knew anything I do it right. Anything I do, I know how to do research. So it was for the grace of God. But one of the main things that God told me as I came out of 3 days of sleeping, I was in the hospital. I couldn't lift a finger. I couldn't open my eyes. I couldn't move. I had been out. They were just waiting to see if I was going to pull through. But the first thing that God shared with me is he began to open up appointed times. And although we talk about Ecclesiastes 3 and how, there's an appointed time to build and to tear down and all of these different appointed times. And so we look at it externally. But there are also appointed times in your life where those things happen. And they not only happen outside of you in your life, but inside of you. And so what is trying to burst forth? Where does it need to land? And when it lands, what is its purpose? What will it do? How will it navigate? Who is it to affect? I don't know who this is for. It may just be for me. Because every time I get on here, even though I'm in a good space and I am practicing what I am preaching, listen, I know that I still have to stay steadfast in what I am speaking to you. And I can also say that that is not always easy. Wait a minute, baby, mommy's recording. I'll be right with you. Stay right there. That is not always easy, but I have to press and I have to push and I have to make sure that it gets done, that what gets done, that the seeking gets done, that the prayer, the meditation, the conversations, and that's inner too. Sometimes I'm just talking to God on the inside. Sometimes I'm just making sure that my mind stays clear of debris so that when he speaks, I can hear him. So I just want to encourage your heart. I want you to first know that there's a greatness on the inside of you. I want you to secondly know that that greatness is to be on display. Nobody's going to contend with that. Wait 1 second, baby. Nobody's going to contend with that. I know you want to contend with that and be ashamed or feel like it's too much, but greatness is to be on display. And thirdly, I want you to understand that that greatness that is to be on display, that's on the inside of you right now, that it has an assignment. And lastly, the only way to get it out and on display and to know what that assignment is to seek the Father. Don't seek me, seek the Father. And that is the word of the Lord. I got to get out of here. My baby is waiting. I love you to life for life. Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. I'm just saying, wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. I'm just saying, no. You're not getting on camera today, okay? You get on camera tonight, okay? Okay. So yeah, just until we meet again, make sure you eat good, make sure you feel good, make sure you look good, or in the least feel good about how you're looking. Look, I got on here with my little plaits and my hair is just, I wasn't quite ready, but I got on here and I want you to know that more than anything, after the eating, the feeling and the looking good, make sure you be good. That's first. I love you. Make sure you hop over to godofthewind.com. Make sure you go and sign up for our beauty event, beautyspatalk.com, BEAUTEA spatalk.com. And as you can see, somebody else is trying to have their closing remarks. So I'm going to get out of here. I love you all. God bless you. Know that the grace of God is with you and it's there to cover you. Bye, y'all.